You guys saw that Brett Favre comment on Deshaun Watson and his situation in Houston? Brett Favre wanted to weigh in on Deshaun Watson's situation just because he's Brett Favre.
Yeah. I mean, could he not? Like, first off,
wait, before I do that,
Yeah,
what I probably should do is read the quote real quick that stood out. To
please.
give listeners an idea what we're talking about in case they don't know about what was said.
Now, and in fairness, too, Favre was asked a question. It's not like he just said, listen, right here.
right?
Well,
Yeah, it wasn't like an unsolicited opinion, but
But it was still kind of unsolicited, I guess. In
Sure.
A way.
I mean, I wrote a piece about it in my blog yesterday about it.
You right?
I was kind of heavy on him. I'm not gonna lie, maybe a little biased because of my, I don't know. Me and Kyle have a thing where we don't think Brett Favre is a top 10 quarterback all time. So just saying. But here's a quote that rose the ire of myself and many others, and I'll get you guys' take on this. Quote: I'm kind of old school. You get paid a ton of money to do a certain job, and just do it and let the chips fall where they may. I think we make too much money to voice an opinion, but I'm not saying he's wrong. I think it's a different day and time, and it'll be interesting to see how the organization handles it. Like I said, I wrote a piece on my blog, earnestly.net, of course. Like I said, I'm a free speech absolutist. You can say what the fuck you want. There's, freedom of speech doesn't mean you are absolved of consequences, of course. I just think that what he said was kind of tone deaf. Given the climate today. And you know me, I'm Mr. Free Speech. Kyle, we discussed this for years. I see your face getting a little. By the way, we're on Skype together today. So.
Tone deaf like what exactly? Because from my point of view, and this is just me, you don't have to agree with me, fellas.
Okay.
I'm more insulted by your System of a Down t-shirt than I am Brett Favre.
What's wrong with System of a Down t-shirt?
System of a Down is a band that makes me cry because they should be amazing, but I can't stand their lead singer. His voice makes me want to throw shit.
Surge?
You heard me. Did I stutter, fool? Hey, you said free speech absolutist, mother.
Laura's gonna kill you.
Yeah, I got some Orville Redenbacher from my dude. Wait, why are you eating invisible popcorn? Did you look up from the
It's upstairs. I'm in the caverns here at the estates.
I mean, thanks to us going 40 minutes over on Beyond the Buzzer, you could have made it at some point, partner.
I just got done with 3 count, my man.
Good point.
2 hours of 3 count.
By the way, love the way we put in the shameless plugs on your show. But anyways, listen.
I love podcast on Tuesdays.
To hilarity by default as well. Here's the thing. I think this is a lesser version of people going after Drew Brees too much for his comments back a while back. Now, the good news is, to my understanding, I have not yet seen a meme of Brett Favre in a Klan hood, so I guess that's a positive. But what I'm trying to say is this, gentlemen. Favre's situation, everybody who's calling Favre a hypocrite needs to pump the brakes a bit. The difference between Favre and Deshaun Watson, and even in his quote, if you read it in its entirety, he says, and I quote, I'm not saying he is wrong in what he's trying to do. But the difference with Favre and Deshaun Watson, because Watson's right to do what he's doing, is that Favre, when he left, knew that they had a guy who we now have dubbed the middle name treatment, Aaron Charles Rodgers. We knew that was a thing. He knew that was a thing. And the reason why Favre was had so much animosity towards him is 2 reasons. A, Rodgers is a cocky dude. And B, the dude actually is talented and was going to be something special. Say what you will about Favre, he knew it, all that other stuff. Him getting traded to the Jets was more about ire he was getting from the front office and kind of in general towards fans with the way he was trying to decide whether to retire or not. Which, hey, listen, I'm not trying to defend Brett Favre. All I'm trying to say is when Favre left, the value of the Green Bay Packers as a goddamn franchise wasn't going to go down. Meanwhile, when Deshaun Watson, whose middle name we may eventually learn if he keeps playing like he's playing.
I'm on it.
is going to leave the Texans in just a complete shambles. To this point, help me, guys, with who the second best quarterback for the Texans is. The correct answer is whoever they trade Deshaun for, even though they say they're not trading him, that includes a quarterback in the deal, okay? Because beyond that, I've made this point before on this and other shows. Who is it? TJ Yates?
I was going to guess Matt Schaub. I figured he was
on the list.
He was still quarterback there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, which, by the way, Matt Schaub was an excellent backup for Michael Vick. Somebody tested him, and they weren't wrong to do so. There was a better choice than, say, Brock Osweiler. But I say all that to say this. To call Favre a hypocrite to this situation is a bad comparison. But to imply that he was somebody who just let the chips fall, granted he was over a decade in at that point, and it's a little different. Let's not go too. And he did try to correct by saying, hey, I don't think he's wrong. He needed to hit that harder and double down on that point more than the fact that they get paid so much money for the game.
Right.
I think for me, like I don't think I was as mad as some people are over what he said, but I think it's just it's connected, and I think we're gonna hit on another one of these things where, like, this notion of, like, just because you're paid to do something and you're paid to be in a position doesn't mean you're not allowed to be unhappy about it, doesn't mean you're not allowed to speak up about it, doesn't mean you're not allowed to want more, want better. Like Deshaun Watson, I mean, we know that he's extremely talented. I don't know if we understand how good he is because of this situation with the offensive line and the coaching staff and the way the team's been managed. Like, my brother and I talked about this similarly on Huddle Up on Tuesday, because the number of people with terrible Matt Stafford takes since that trade went through has been astounding, because I'm like, is he the best quarterback of all time? No, but I'm like, if you don't understand that Matthew Stafford greater than symbol Jared Goff, and it is a upgrade at that position, you can argue if that they overspent. Like that's a whole separate situation. But like, the disrespect on Matt Stafford is astounding. And I'm like, he was in with a team that has been horribly run for decades. And the Texans are a horribly run organization and have been for a very long time. So I have no problem with Deshaun Watson speaking up and saying, like, you know, I want to be traded. Like, do I think if he doesn't get traded that Watson's going to not show up and perform? Absolutely not. I don't think that's who Deshaun Watson is.
I don't either.
If he's a Houston Texan, he's going to play, and he's going to play the way he always has. But there's nothing wrong with him saying, I want out of here. Like, you know, it's kind of been a week of like, last couple of weeks of like old dudes just playing like the old dude card, because like the Undertaker was on. Like, Undertaker was on Joe Rogan and is like, you know, back in my day, guys used to carry guns and beat the hell out of each other in the locker room, and these guys are soft. And then Goldberg.
By the way, that's a topic for Take 3 this Saturday. My topic for
nice.
Take topic.
And then like Bill Goldberg's like, yeah, what he said, and then Jim Ross is like, yeah, what he said, and I'm like, are you like? Just because guys aren't like shanking each other in locker rooms doesn't mean they're softer now. Like, we're okay having video games and not like beating the piss out of each other for no reason. Doesn't mean we're not tough. It just means like we're probably smarter than you. And like, if something isn't right, like if something isn't right, we're gonna like speak up about it. Like, that's okay to do, and I think that's all Watson's doing. So it's just like, it's a generational thing, you know. And so Favre is Favre, and it is what it is.
To that point,